Hello, and welcome to Celiac.com news. Subscribe to our channel to get the latest celiac disease and gluten-free diet news. And if you have any questions, be sure to join the Celiac.com forum online at celiac.com. And now, let's move on to the latest Celiac.com news. The environmental triggers of celiac disease. Are we missing something? Celiac disease is widely recognized as an autoimmune condition triggered by gluten consumption in genetically predisposed individuals. However, emerging research suggests that gluten alone may not fully explain why some people develop celiac disease while others with similar genetic markers do not. Scientists are now investigating environmental factors that could contribute to the onset of the disease. Understanding these factors is crucial for better prevention and early intervention strategies. The potential link between long-term proton pump inhibitor use and celiac disease. Proton pump inhibitors, PPIs, are commonly prescribed for acid reflux and other gastrointestinal disorders. However, studies have suggested that prolonged PPI use may increase the risk of developing celiac disease. PPIs alter the stomach's acidic environment, which can lead to incomplete digestion of gluten proteins and changes in gut microbiota. This may increase intestinal permeability, making it easier for gluten peptides to trigger an autoimmune response in genetically susceptible individuals. While more research is needed, this potential connection highlights the importance of using PPIs cautiously and only when medically necessary. Early dietary fiber intake and its role in celiac disease development. Dietary fiber plays a significant role in gut health by promoting beneficial bacteria and regulating immune function. Some studies suggest that children who consume insufficient fiber early in life may be at higher risk of developing celiac disease. Fiber helps maintain intestinal barrier integrity, which may reduce the likelihood of abnormal immune responses to gluten. Ensuring adequate fiber intake from an early age might be a protective factor against autoimmune conditions, including celiac disease. Childhood antibiotic use, a disruptor of gut microbiota. Antibiotic exposure in childhood is another potential environmental factor linked to celiac disease. Antibiotics can significantly alter gut microbiota, disrupting the balance of beneficial bacteria and leading to increased intestinal permeability. Research indicates that repeated antibiotic use in early childhood may contribute to immune system dysregulation, making individuals more susceptible to autoimmune diseases like celiac disease. While antibiotics are sometimes necessary, their overuse should be avoided, and efforts to restore gut health through probiotics and a balanced diet may help mitigate potential risks. Gluten consumption and cytokine levels influence celiac disease development in at-risk children. Children who carry genetic markers for celiac disease do not always develop the condition. One emerging theory suggests that gluten consumption in these individuals interacts with cytokines, immune system signaling molecules, that influence disease progression. Studies have found that elevated levels of inflammatory cytokines in response to gluten exposure may contribute to the activation of celiac disease. Understanding these immune responses could help develop personalized dietary strategies for children at risk of developing celiac disease. Highly fluorinated chemicals can raise celiac disease and diabetes risk in children. And polyfluoroalkyl substances, PFAS, commonly found in nonstick cookware, food packaging, and industrial waste, have been linked to immune system disruption. Research suggests that PFAS exposure is associated with an increased risk of autoimmune diseases, including celiac disease and type 1 diabetes, particularly in children. These chemicals may interfere with gut barrier function and immune regulation, making individuals more susceptible to autoimmune conditions. Reducing exposure to PFAS by choosing safer household products and avoiding contaminated water sources may help mitigate this risk. Persistent chemical exposure and higher celiac disease rates. Beyond PFAS, other persistent environmental chemicals, such as pesticides, heavy metals, and endocrine-disrupting compounds, have been linked to autoimmune diseases. Studies have shown that children and adults with higher levels of these chemicals in their bodies tend to have a higher prevalence of celiac disease. The mechanisms behind this correlation remain under investigation, but it is suspected that these toxins may contribute to immune dysregulation and increased intestinal permeability. Minimizing exposure to environmental toxins through organic food choices, filtered water, and chemical free personal care products may be beneficial for those at risk. Intestinal viruses and celiac disease, the rule of rota and real virus in early childhood. Viral infections in early childhood, particularly rotavirus and real virus, have been implicated in the development of celiac disease. These viruses can trigger an immune response that alters how the body processes gluten, potentially leading to a loss of tolerance. Studies have shown that children who experience frequent viral infections are at a greater risk of developing celiac disease later in life. This finding supports the importance of preventing and managing viral infections in early childhood through proper hygiene, vaccination, and a strong focus on overall immune health. Late introduction of gluten to infants. Does timing matter? The timing of gluten introduction to infants has been debated for years. Earlier guidelines suggested delaying gluten introduction to reduce celiac disease risk, but more recent studies indicate that introducing small amounts of gluten between 4 and 6 months of age may be protective. Delayed introduction, particularly beyond 6 months, has been associated with a higher likelihood of developing celiac disease. These findings highlight the importance of following updated infant feeding recommendations and consulting healthcare professionals on best practices for introducing gluten. What this means for people with celiac disease or gluten sensitivity. The research on environmental triggers for celiac disease underscores the complexity of the condition. While genetic predisposition remains a primary factor, environmental influences such as medication use, diet, chemical exposure, and viral infections may contribute to disease onset. For individuals with celiac disease or gluten sensitivity, these findings emphasize the importance of 1. Maintaining a healthy gut microbiome through a balanced diet rich in fiber and probiotics. 2. Using antibiotics and PPIs only when necessary. 3. Reducing exposure to environmental toxins, including PFAS and other persistent chemicals. 4. Managing viral infections through proper hygiene and vaccinations. 5. Introducing gluten to infants at an appropriate age to support immune tolerance. As research continues to uncover new insights into the environmental factors contributing to celiac disease, individuals at risk can take proactive steps to minimize potential triggers. Understanding these factors may also lead to more effective prevention strategies and, ultimately, better outcomes for those living with celiac disease. Celiac disease is a complex autoimmune disorder influenced by both genetic and environmental factors. While gluten is the known trigger, other environmental exposures may play a crucial role in disease development. By exploring these potential contributors, researchers hope to develop more targeted prevention and intervention strategies. For those with celiac disease or gluten sensitivity, staying informed about emerging research and making lifestyle adjustments to reduce environmental risks may be key to long-term health and well-being. To get the latest celiac disease news and information, be sure to subscribe to celiac.com news. Thank you for tuning in, and see you next time.